Yo, 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 what is up, my internet friends? It's your host back for another deep dive. And today we're going deep, deep, deep into the wild world of internet personalities and the drama that follows them. You know what I'm talking about? That train wreck you can't look away from. We're going to be diving into the story of a guy who's a familiar face to those who frequent the darker corners of the internet. Let's just say his 15 minutes of fame are quickly turning into a lifetime movie of bad choices.
It's a classic case of internet personality implosion.
Hmm.
Yeah, the kind you just can't help but watch unfold, even though, you probably should look away. It's like a digital car crash in slow motion.
Except the car is made of bad decisions and fueled by questionable occult practices. We're talking about Tarl Warwick, a.k.a. Styx and Hammer 666, the man who's made a name for himself on YouTube with his political commentary and his, let's just say, interesting interests in the occult. Now, for those of you not familiar with the name or haven't been keeping up with the latest drama on those finer corners of the internet, Tarl's been on a downward spiral.
It's been a rough couple of years for him, to say the least. His content has definitely taken a hit. The once sharp political commentary has kind of devolved into rambling rants, often fueled by what seems to be a pretty unhealthy relationship with alcohol.
Yeah, those bed-in videos were something else, right? Like, dude, I get it. You're comfy in your bathrobe. But maybe save the existential crisis for your therapist, not your YouTube subscribers.
And then there's the whole fleeing Europe situation. Leaving his family behind. Not exactly a good look for the self-proclaimed family man.
Right, like, bro, you had a good thing going, A wife, kids, a picturesque European backdrop for your videos? What happened? Did they run out of baguettes over there?
The details are still a bit murky, but it seems like a combination of personal and professional pressures might have contributed to his rather abrupt relocation.
And relocate he did, right back to the good old U.S. of A., specifically New Orleans,
Yeah.
The big easy home of jazz gumbo. And apparently legal trouble for our friend Tarl.
Oh yeah, the legal troubles. We can't forget about those. It seems our boy Styx has gotten himself into a bit of a pickle with the law down in NOLA. The specifics are still under wraps, but it's serious enough to warrant the attention of the district attorney's office.
And speaking of the DA's office, this is where things take a really bizarre turn. Shortly before Tarl arrived in New Orleans, an assistant DA involved in his case, Ian Kirsting, committed suicide.
A tragic event for sure. But what makes it even more unsettling is Tarl's reaction to it. He posts a video shortly after boasting about the power of chaos magic and implying that it played a role in the DA's death.
Hold up, chaos magic. Is this guy for real? I mean, I know he's always been into the whole occult thing, but this is next level. It's like he's trying to out-crazy Kanye over here.
It's definitely a disturbing statement, to say the least, and it raises a lot of questions about his mental state, his grasp on reality, and maybe most importantly, his legal strategy. I mean, who brags about using magic to take down their enemies when they're already facing criminal charges?
Right? Yeah. Not exactly the best way to win over a jury. But hey, I guess when you're already this deep in the crazy pool, might as well cannonball into the deep end.
And of course, this whole situation has sent the internet into a frenzy. Especially in certain circles.
Oh yeah, the Kiwi Farmers are having a field day with this one. They're probably building a shrine to Tarl in their digital basement of weirdness as we speak.
Well, we actually have some excerpts from the Kiwi Farms thread dedicated to Tarl, and let me tell you, it is a gold mine of schadenfreude armchair psychology and just plain bizarre commentary.
Hit me with it. I need my daily dose of internet cringe.
Yeah, they did not hold back, let me tell you. They're calling him everything from washed up to a walking mental breakdown, speculating that the only magic he's working these days is the kind that turns cheap whiskey into bad decisions.
Ouch. That's gotta sting.
Yeah.
But hey, what do you expect from a bunch of anonymous internet trolls, right?
Well, to be fair, they're not entirely wrong. I mean, Tarl's content has definitely taken a nosedive. It's gone from insightful, even if you didn't agree with his views, to just plain bizarre.
Right? Like that whole rant about the Illuminati controlling the world's mayonnaise supply.
Right.
I mean, come on, dude. You and Alex Jones wouldn't touch that one.
Yeah, it's a far cry from his earlier work, which, while often controversial, at least had some semblance of coherence. Now it's like he's just stringing together these random conspiracy theories and occult jargon, hoping something sticks.
It's like watching a once promising athlete fizzle out and end up doing infomercials for questionable supplements.
Sad, really.
And the Kiwi Farmers are there for every cringeworthy moment, documenting it with the meticulous detail of a forensic scientist at a crime scene. They're dissecting his videos, analyzing his rants, even comparing his appearance to various stages of decomposition.
Okay, that's messed up, but also kind of funny. I mean, you gotta admit the guy's given him a lot of material to work with.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
And that brings us to an interesting question. Why are we, and by we I mean the internet at large, so fascinated by Tarl's downfall?
It's the same reason people slow down to gawk at a car wreck, right? Morbid curiosity. A sense of schadenfreude, that primal urge to witness someone else's misfortune. Yeah, I think there's more to it than that, though. I think Tarl's story taps into something deeper. A kind of anxiety we all have about the fragility of online fame. It's like a cautionary tale. A reminder that the internet giveth and the internet taketh away.
Yeah, it's like he built his whole identity on this online persona, this Styx Hexenhammer 666 character.
Yeah?
Now the mask is slipping, revealing the messy, chaotic reality underneath.
And that reality is not pretty. He's alienated his audience, his family, and seemingly himself. He's trapped in this echo chamber of his own making, surrounded by yes men and enablers who are more interested in watching him crash and burn than offering any real help.
Like a Greek tragedy. Except instead of chorus, we have a bunch of anonymous internet commentators cracking jokes and posting memes.
Exactly. And that's what makes this story so fascinating, so disturbing, and ultimately so human, you know? It's a reminder that behind these carefully curated online personas, behind the filters and the follower counts, there are real people with real struggles. And those struggles can manifest in some pretty bizarre ways.
So what's the prognosis for our boy Styx? Is there any hope for redemption? Or is he destined to fade into obscurity? A cautionary tale whispered in the dark corners of the internet.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can he pull himself out of this spiral, or will he succumb to the forces of chaos he claims to command? Only time will tell.
One thing's for sure. The Kiwi Farmers will be there every step of the way, documenting every stumble, every rant, every bizarre twist in this unfolding saga.
Like digital vultures circling overhead, waiting for the inevitable crash. And while their methods might be questionable, their dedication to chronicling the messy reality of internet fame is undeniable.
All right, let's dive back into that Kiwi Farms thread and see what other gems these digital detectives have unearthed. I'm sure they've got plenty more dirt to dish on our friend Tarl. Welcome back to the Deep Dive, folks. We're still digging through the wreckage of Styx Hexenhammer 666's digital life, and let me tell you, it's a mess.
It's really quite remarkable how this Kiwi Farms thread has become a sort of public autopsy of an online persona.
Yeah, it's like watching a slow-motion train wreck, but the train is made of ego and fueled by delusion.
And the passengers are all a bunch of enablers and hangers-on who seem to be more invested in the spectacle than the well-being of the person at the helm.
Right. Like they're all members of some bizarre cult chanting chaos magic while the ship sinks beneath them.
Well, there's definitely a sense of shared delusion going on here. The line between reality and fantasy has become so blurred, it's hard to tell who's actually drinking the Kool-Aid and who's just pretending for the clicks.
And in the middle of it all is Tarl, our tragic hero, or maybe anti-hero, who seems to be both the architect and the victim of his own downfall.
He's a fascinating case study in self-destruction, really. A cautionary tale about the dangers of online fame and believing your own hype.
It's like Icarus flying too close to the sun, except instead of wax wings, he's got a fragile ego inflated by internet likes and fueled by questionable occult practices.
And the fall, as they say, is always the hardest part, especially when you've got a legion of anonymous internet commentators documenting every painful moment of it.
Speaking of those commentators, let's get back to that Kiwi Farms thread and see what other nuggets of wisdom they've dug up. I'm sure they've got plenty more to say about Tarl's descent into madness.
Oh, they do. One user said watching Tarl's videos these days is like watching a once proud lion reduced to scavenging for scraps in a dumpster.
Ouch. Pretty brutal assessment, but, not entirely inaccurate. The guy's content has gone from somewhat coherent to completely unhinged.
Another user commented that Tarl's chaos magic seems to be working a little too well, considering the chaos he's created in his own life.
You could say that, yeah. His life is a pretty good advertisement for the effectiveness of chaos magic, just not in the way he probably intended.
Right, but perhaps the most insightful comment came from a user who simply wrote, "This is what happens when you spend too much time online surrounded by yes men and echo chambers. You lose touch with reality."
It's a chilling thought. It reminds us that the internet, for all its wonders, can also be a breeding ground for delusion and detachment from reality.
It's a double-edged sword for sure. It can connect us, inform us, entertain us, but it can also distort our perceptions, warp our sense of self, and lead us down some very dark paths.
And in Tarl's case, it seems like the internet has taken him on a wild ride, from the heights of YouTube stardom to the depths of digital infamy.
It's a cautionary tale for sure. For anyone who seeks fame and fortune in the online world, a reminder that the internet giveth and the internet taketh away. and when it taketh away, it can be brutal.
Well, folks, that about wraps up our deep dive into the train wreck that is Styx and Hammer 666's life. We've laughed, we've cringed, we've pondered the nature of reality in the digital age. And if you're hungry for more internet drama, more schadenfreude, more deep dives into the abyss of human weirdness, well, you know where to find us. Just head on over to Google Presents Kiwi Farms and join the fun. Bring your popcorn, your smark, and your morbid curiosity. It's going to be a wild ride. Until next time, folks, stay curious, stay cynical, and stay tuned. Peace out.